is Ellie Kerr, and I'm the founding director of Merseyside Women of the Year. And this is the Crispy Ear podcast. And I'd like to welcome my fabulous guests, Katie Gordon-Orr and Younis. Thank you very much, girls, for coming and joining me.
It's a pleasure,
Very
Ellie.
welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You sure you know what you're letting yourself in for?
Probably not, no. Probably not. I know I do actually. Because I think all three of us breathe through our belly buttons, don't we? So
we do.
There's going to be no
We
problem
do.
about the
No.
conversation. But obviously to say that you're part of, the WOTY family for 2024, which has been amazing.
Oh, it has.
So can I just pick on both of you, if that's okay? Can I start with Abby?
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit about yourself and the category you won for WOTY?
Yeah, so I'm a financial crime consultant by day, and I have a lot of fingers in a lot of pies, charity-wise, as well. I'm sure we'll go on to speak about those very soon. I won in the category of health and well-being for my Women Conquering Cancer campaign.
Kate?
Hiya, Ellie. So I won WOTY's Inspirational Lady Woman Award, and that was for founding a charity called Fighting to be Heard, which supports secondary breast cancer patients across the UK. We founded in 2021, similarly to Abby's Conquering Cancer.
That's been the really, well, obviously, I know you anyway, so it sounds like, I've done some research on you. But that's the weird thing, isn't it, to both of you? Isn't it weird?
It's very strange, Ellie, because our paths keep crossing.
Yeah.
We just seem to have this amazing connection,
Yeah,
don't
we do. Genuinely, I'm going goosebumps. But we've got a mutual friend. We did she's passed now, mutual friend. And then from that, we've forged a really lovely relationship. It's like a friendship that, you don't have to be in each other's pockets, but when we see each other, it's very comfortable, comfortable, isn't it?
The universe seems to keep putting you together, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does.
But also, I think from my perspective, sometimes when women go on the journeys that you've done to start charities, it's from a very personal perspective.
Yeah.
And it is. I'm not saying that what you've done isn't personal, but it's what you've done is it is personal, but what you've done is truly amazing, because I know what you've done with the Women Conquering Cancer, but with the Mona Lisa, and then also what you've done, Kate, with Fighting to be Heard.
Yeah.
The impact that you've had on other women is amazing.
But we don't see it like we probably. I don't know. I'm saying we, and I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of both of us, but the reason why I'm saying this is when you're around volunteers, and we neither of us are paid for our roles and positions and stuff, which I like to say, because although I'm the chair of a cancer charity, it is in a voluntary capacity and an accidental capacity at that. But when you're around other people who volunteer, it's quite normal. It's not like as if we are amazing. Yeah. We're just normal. Whereas but it's nice being around other people who are in the same headspace as you, because you don't want to be made out like you're this amazing person, because you're just doing what you think's right.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean by that? And it doesn't make you feel... It's nice to be around Abby, because she's on the same page as me in so many respects. And it's not like, people are putting you on a pedestal, because it doesn't feel like we should be.
No.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it feels like... there's a job to be done. We know we can do it, so we do it.
Yeah.
And, we don't want money to come into it, because that taints things sometimes as well. And I think doing something out of passion and out of love and out of humanity is just the best way, best reason to do anything. Yeah. With my Women Conquering Cancer campaign, I just wanted women to be empowered, women going through cancer, to know that, okay, we've been diagnosed with this terrible disease, but it's not the end of the world. We can still do so much. We can still achieve so much. And the reason that I did it has got actually nothing to do with what I had gone through in my journey, but it was to help other women and change the face of women's health, which is so needed, isn't it?
Well, what you did was strategically, a change within the NHS service.
Well, it was it's the first Mona Lisa, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first time this treatment will be available on the NHS. The Liverpool Women's Hospital will make history for providing it. We had a tiny little celebration a few weeks ago because it finally arrived after 2.5 years of waiting for it.
Yeah.
And it will now proceed to the clinical trials which have to take place. It's approved for medical use, but it's not been used in the NHS before. So I'm so excited that going forward there'll be hundreds and thousands of women who will be able to have this treatment. It will be life-changing for them. They'll be able to go to work normally. They'll be able to have relationships with their partners normally, and mental health will improve, physical health will improve, and it will put Liverpool on the map. And it's all thanks to the Liverpool Women's Hospital and the vision of wanting to be at the forefront of women's health.
And the thing is as well, Ellie, can I just say with regards to it, they're like sort of going to train their team, aren't they? They said as long as you get the money towards the machine, they will train their staff. But it's not just people who've had cancer journeys. It's especially women who are on the menopausal journey. The treatment takes literally seconds, doesn't it?
So this is really important because the campaign was called Women Conquering Cancer. Sometimes people think it's about cancer patients, and it's not. It's about women. So the symptoms that it will address are experienced by all women. So it could be women who have gone through surgical menopause or just normal menopause as well. So it's a condition that's been around as long as women have been around, and it will be around as long. And it will be around as long as women are around. But it's a 5-minute laser treatment that will help them so much, and it sounds ridiculous, isn't
literally
it?
seconds, isn't it? Little zip and you're away and your life's changed.
But the impact that has on women, and also, as you say, from a greater life perspective, is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, and I think honestly, good on Liverpool Women's Hospital, because we talk about the fundraising side quite a lot, but it all started with approaching the hospital and asking them if they were willing to provide this treatment, because without that approval you couldn't do anything. So that is the major part of it, and it's just so exciting.
But it's also, to pick up on what you said before, you saw something that needed to be done, and you did it.
Yes.
And it was the same with you, wasn't it, Kate? Fighting to be heard.
It was random, so totally random. So I was asked as a marketing consultant to support another charity.
So that's your day job?
Yeah, so I'm a sales and marketing. I've always been in sales, and then it forged into marketing into like sort of my 30s in the digital side of things, creating content and working as ad director for a big news company and what have you. And then my little girl got sick, and life threw me a massive curveball. She's got functional neurological disorder, and it was a time when she was fitting consistently, if anyone knows of that disease, like consistently night and day for weeks sometimes on end. Touch wood and whistle, she's great now. She's just gone through a degree and she's doing really well, which I never expected, but I had to come out of that corporate world and then start freelancing. So I was working with a client who had secondary breast cancer, and she passed, and the charity sector was part of her legacy, so I started working with them, and I was doing some pro bono work for a charity in Scotland called Make Seconds Count, and they asked me to run a campaign, quite like sort of a tight requirement for October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I've got to do it in Liverpool, because if I'm going to do it for free. And then I brought in and drafted in a friend called Sane 7. Now Sane 7 are like, they'd done campaign with me before. I knew that we could artistically create something with impact, and so I posed with the charity a campaign called Fighting to Be Heard. That was the strapline that I came up with, because secondary breast cancer is incurable. It is treatable, hopefully for some. Unfortunately for others it's not, but it is, you know, dependent on, you know, what treatment line and whether it works for them to keep the cancer at bay. And although they've lost in some ways their fight against cancer, because it will win in the end, unfortunately, because it's stage 4, they haven't lost their voice. So that's why we called it Fighting to be Heard, and we did it in a gym in Liverpool. And if you haven't seen the picture, it's incredible. Well, St. Sevens won. At the time she was prolific, but now she's probably one of the top campaign photographers in the world. And very kindly, we've had it edited by Vogue in collaboration and consultation with the families. Unfortunately, in 3 years, we've lost 7 ladies. And in our last campaign for October Awareness...
Was it 20?
Out of 20.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, out of 20. So it's been edited by Vogue, actually, the editor of Vogue, because she's got so many great connections. And, you know, subtly the ladies have been, you know, greyed out, which is horrific.
It is horrific, but it is so powerful.
It's a powerful message.
It is. And we hate having to ask each family, but it's actually the intentions of the ladies that are past that 20, that they've all agreed that they want that to continue, which... You know, it's been a strange scenario, as I say. I'm an accidental chair. And what happened from that situation, as we were seeing people, you know, lose their life, and like Vic said from Sane 7, she's actually called Sane now, she's changed her name. Sane said, you know, we never realised on the day, we knew we had to create something impactful, but we never anticipated the effect that image was going to have. And I never even dreamed that my life was going to change so much from taking that image. You know, and
they're usually the most powerful ones, though, aren't they? If you tried to contrive it and make it happen, it probably wouldn't do it, would it? You know, it's something that's accidental, that it has a lot more meaning, because it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
No,
and
exactly.
Especially with the women being greyed out and stuff. Yeah. That is not a very nice legacy, but it is a legacy.
Because we never planned that. No. We never thought about that. No one would even. Oh God, that'd be vile, wouldn't it, to even think like that? But, you know, so what happened with the charity coming to fruition, we were at a lady called Sal, her funeral, and because of the cost of living crisis, which was at a peak, you know, and with a lot of the women, there are some men with secondaries, but within the image, we just couldn't get hold of a gentleman to take part, to be honest. You know, that it's the stigma. There are a few men that are coming out now into the forefront to share about their secondaries, but it's a bit of a difficult one for them. But we were at Sal's funeral, and we were talking about, you know, how difficult it is for people who've lost their jobs, and cancer's such a costly thing. And I just said, well, why don't we just... I'd done a walk with some friends from Blackpool to Liverpool Tower.
And jumped out of a plane.
Oh, and jumped out of a plane, yeah.
Honestly.
But to create some money for, like, sort of driving the campaign, and basically giving some of the money to the ladies that were in that image that were struggling. So we just did that
it's a grant.
No, but what we did before the charity, we just did this walk, and then everyone started saying, why don't you do something? Right. So at Sal's funeral, we said, well, why don't we create something where people can do a marathon or do anything? We'll all just volunteer. We didn't even anticipate what went into creating a charity. And we just said, okay, we'll do it. I said to them, you know, because I'm the Scouser amongst everyone, I said, we'll just be like a Scouser. We'll just get the money and give it out, you know. And that's what we do. None of us are paid. And whatever anybody raises, we basically dish it out in summer for summer holidays, and winter for the winter, for the winter period, for, you know, in the lead up to the holidays for, you know, Christmas. And it just helps people, you know, the feedback is just phenomenal. We are the 3 Fs, we call it the 3 Fs, because we had to have a bit of tongue in cheek. So we're friendship, so we have a support group, which is massive, and our patients lead that. So our trusty patients lead that. So it's a, you know, community there. It's for, you know, it's a closed user group, which is phenomenal. We have the F for financial support, and we have the F for fighting to be heard. So we support other charities on their mission for change, research, and for voice. So But
so I'm going to take it when you said we're not amazing. I'm going to take that, and you are amazing.
You are amazing.
And I think, obviously, WOTY's 15 this year. So from my perspective, when we find fabulous women like you, and I think I've said it before on the podcast, and I'll probably about it when we've finished them, I always say it's not necessity. It isn't the father of all invention, it's the mother of all invention.
Yeah.
And I think from my perspective, when we are able to spotlight fabulous women like you in the city, that really makes WOTY stand out. So I just wanted to sort of pick up on, I obviously, have the framework of network, information, money and self-belief. So I know if you could just tell me a little bit what meant to you, what one of or a couple of those mean to you from that sort of network, information, money and self-belief.
Okay, so for me, my network has grown incredibly through WOTY. I can't even pronounce that word.
Oh, just say WOTY. I say WOTY.
WOTY. It's just propelled me into the community. I love our group, so we have a WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp group which is always buzzing. Everyone's always doing so much. All the women are amazing.
They are.
They're so supportive, and they never stop. They have day jobs, and they're doing so much in their own time as well. So they're incredible, and they're always willing to help and support. Then it's, as I said, it's taken me into the communities as well, and helped me connect with local organisations which I can support, and I can make aware of some of the projects that I'm involved in, like the widows. So I'm a trustee of a tiny little charity called Widows' Rights International. It's a human rights charity for widows, and we work overseas, mainly with the sub-Saharan countries, but I've been recently wanting to know what's been happening or what is happening on our home ground as well. So it allows me to go into the community and start talking to people, and ask their stories, find out what challenges they faced as widows or the children of widows as well, and see the ways in which you can support, because although our charity is tiny, there were 5 of us until recently. It's a trustee-led charity, and we do everything. It's self-funded as well. We do a lot of work at the United Nations in Geneva, in New York as well. And recently we held the first ever 2-day. So some refer to it as a seminar, some as a conference, but solely dedicated to widows.
Wow.
And that's a landmark achievement. We had representation from across the world. We had representations from of lawyers, of human rights experts, of widows, governments. The UK sent the head of human rights to it as well. We talked about harmful practices. It talked about health. It talked about child widows. It talked about the children of widows, food security, economic empowerment. There are a whole host of topics, and it left countries so inspired to go back and really challenge their governments, fight for widows to be recognized as a category in their own self, because
it's not, is it?
It's not. They are the invisible women. Disinheritance is a huge thing as well amongst them. There's just so much going on in this space, and if they are recognized as a category in themselves, then they can appear in the international instruments, and then the countries can put more focus on them. They can collect more data, because at the moment we don't really know how many widows there are in the world.
And then when you collect the data, that attracts funding, doesn't it?
That attracts funding, more interest, more awareness, more advocacy. And at the moment, it's something like 300,000 widows, 300 million widows across the world. But the actual number is a lot higher, because, we have conflicts, we have natural disasters, epidemics all the time. We have marriages that are not registered. We have, marriages where the husband disappears in times of conflict or war. They never return, so you can't officially be a widow, but you are. Yeah. You have couples who are not married but live together for a long period of time. The loss is the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in this area, and
but the fact that your network is extended out to, into the UN. And
when she appeared in the UN, I was like,
unbelievable.
Honestly, she's just incredible.
Yeah, but
I get goosebumps listening to her. The impact she's having, not just locally but internationally, and she's just so well placed.
It's that bit about when women like yourselves, what I call quietly brilliant. You're just quietly, brilliantly getting on with what it is you need to do. No fuss, and I'd probably because I know when I ring you up and said, "Oh, you're nominated and you're a finalist,"
I just
I cringed.
I just
did.
It was so.
But that's the point of why we do it, and I'm just so grateful that we get to have you in our orbit. Because
thank you.
We're grateful to you, Elle, honestly.
For all that you do.
I don't know what honestly, even from a personal perspective, nothing to do with, you're right. You're so genuine and right there.
Yes.
It's not because you're doing it because it's necessarily all about MWOTY. It's because of you, who you are. I can't thank you. And no, it's genuine. It's a thank you so much. No, you don't. Keep it in. Keep it in.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's true.
What about you? Because I know
so I'll go on the finance side of things.
Okay.
So, great trajectory. Earning way over, 6 figures and stuff like that for a while, head of digital at Barclaycard, and then Ava gets really sick. I was managing it through the advertising director role, first time as a single mum, being on, a board and stuff like that. Thought it, great, and then life throws you this curveball, and they come first at the end of the day, don't they?
It's nothing more important.
So you go from that to nothing in literally like that.
Yeah.
So your resourcefulness kicks in, and I had Ava being looked after respite, day, and then I'd gone in to do the John Haynes Foundation of a night time to just literally switch my head back on and think about what I was going to do. And from that community network, I got people asking me, can you do a day rate here? Can you do a day rate there? And it started to give me some income. And I started my first founder role. I started a fashion brand, and it was with my sister-in-law. I said, I've got some time, I'll start it and I'll kickstart it. Yeah. So we it was swimwear she wanted to focus on, and I launched that brand for her, and we sold more in America than we did. So all my digital expertise and business development came into fruition there. So that was that. So I did that whilst doing the consultancy, because even if you've got a child that's not well, there's a lot of downtime, there's a lot, I needed some, I have to work.
It's a distraction as well.
It's in my DNA. It's in my DNA. I can't not work. I was brought up.
Can you?
No, I was brought up in a family who, 7-day-a-week hospitality. So people don't. It never worried me, to have those time pressures with work, because I'm always switched on. So anyway, very long story short. I started Shopify stores and, helping. I did some work with the government as well, the RTC, helping startups as well on a day rate. So I did that. And then I managed a skincare company for 4.5 years. Got involved with the charity sector as a joint approach to the business. And then finished there and thought, I want to use the expertise that I've got on product development, because I've worked with developing swimwear, product development, the sales side, I understand the digital side, even from how to do things. So I threw myself on a course, to run, how can I, get the best leverage out of Facebook and advertising, where you've got a big team in a corporate, and I'd say, right, we need to do that, we need to do this. I used to merchandise every Friday afternoon in Canary Wharf. That was our merchandising meeting, because we'd have as a bank. I worked for a bank then, and we'd have lots and lots of, all my team would go out collecting advertising and offers, and we would merchandise on a Friday afternoon. So I knew how to run a big team, but doing it myself, so I had to teach myself how to do it. So because I've taught myself how to do it, I thought, you know what, I could start something here, and I could use the knowledge I've got from product development, the charity sector element, and bring a purposeful website together. So with very little money and on a total shoestring, I've launched Ouch, which stands for Outstanding We, because it's not about me, it's about we, it's about a community. It's Outstanding We, creating a community of health and happiness. So, and honestly, I'll be honest with you, I had a really, difficult November, December, because I've become single again, which is very difficult to say. And I had every opportunity to not do it because I was flat on the floor, as you are. Anyway, it was like our Soph, my Auntie Lib, my mum, Liz, Ava, all the people that love me most, we're doing it. It's going. We're launching it. So it was a very soft launch in November, but it's really ramped up. Yeah. And we've got a positivity psychologist on people might know her, Liz Folan from the community. We've got an authoritative knowledge in nutrition, and she is an authoritative knowledge. She can work with primary and breast cancer and menopausal women. So she's our resident nutritionalist. We've got now Danielle McDermott coming on board, who's going to be, teaching people about strength training. So she'll be like sort of giving, so you come to the website and you come to the socials and it's all free, and it's just a community. And then we've created the product, our first product, because it's what I know, which is a face oil.
And it is fab, I have to say.
Yeah, so a lot of people know me within the industry. So what we do with the face oil is you buy one, which you have, and we donate one to someone on a breast cancer journey. And every product that we create for Ouch will have an element of giving back. So it is a platform with purpose. Yeah. So we can still make it commercially viable, because it has to be. It has to be. But from a marketing perspective, it sits well with me because we're doing something good, and also from a business growth perspective. But it's all done on a total shoestring. I'm working. I've got students living in the house. I've got 3 jobs. I've got 2 clients actually at the moment. I'm coaching in Liverpool Community College. I'm doing everything I can. I'm working over night time on Ouch.
I've got a funny story.
When I said before, necessity is the mother of all invention. Yeah. That's what happens with it, isn't it? Yeah, but I have to say, and I know this is, it's not solicited or anything. My face is like a pan of chips. It's really, really greasy. Yeah. Honest to goodness, mate, it drives me mad. And since I've been using it, honestly.
Well, there's a bit of it's
polyphenol.
It's polyphenol power. Fabulous. So there's a massive thing, from a marketing perspective, there's a massive, trend about polyphenols. And I'm a bit of an obsessed, sort of forager. And I have been, and Ouch comes from nettles. So my brother's not long had a kidney transplant, and when I was looking for, and I've got, I wanted to give him a kidney, but mine aren't great. So I was foraging for nettles to have tea to try and support our kidneys. And that's where the name Ouch came from. And then my friend who's in the cancer community came up with the acronym for it.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah.
But also the element of giving back. I think if you're going to, as a consumer, if you're going to buy something, it is nice to think that
some good is coming out of it.
Well, our strapline is Ouch, taking the sting out of life.
Yeah,
so
no, it's amazing.
And it's a bit of a contradictory to it, but and there will be an opportunity for other people to sell on our platform, but it's not quite there yet.
Well, listen, you've done amazing. You're not sitting knitting socks, are you?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
You're turning yourself almost into a pretzel to sort of
looking for investment if anybody's the right person to invest, to grow it. Yeah.
Well, it's called the Crispy Ear Podcast for a reason. And I just want you to give me an example. If you could go back and tell yourself and give yourself a crispy ear, so that means give yourself a really good telling off, what would be the thing that you would say to yourself? Ooh. Or if not necessarily to yourself, to somebody else that you think, you know, if I was going to give somebody some advice and make their ear crispy over it.
Go on.
Okay, so I think throughout my life I've lived by my values and my beliefs all the way through. If there's one thing I could change, is I would say to my younger self not to be afraid to put yourself first, because I think life throws all sorts of curveballs at you, and you end up doing so much for so many people that you forget about yourself sometimes. So don't forget to put yourself first, and it's okay to do so. And the other thing is just moisturize more.
Yeah.
I'm still terrible at moisturize. I can't do it.
Skin's flawless, by the way.
It is, isn't it?
Absolutely flawless.
Just
Flawless. Yeah.
Water's been my greatest moisturizer
She's
all
gorgeous.
my life.
Look
but
at, not a line.
it's
Not a line.
It's catching up with you.
Not a
Mine's just
line.
full of Maltese.
She's gorgeous.
What about you, Kate?
Oh wow, there's many a crispy ear. I could have talked to myself for hours, and my ears would probably fall off. What would I say? That I'm enough. I'd tell myself I'm enough, because I did a podcast and it was about you're good enough. I have huge imposter syndrome, as you know, and I put on a very good, brave face, like a lot of women.
Yeah.
And inside, I'm peddling like mad. You know,
we're the greatest pretenders, aren't we?
The greatest pretenders. And I think, you know, I go in to coach young people, and I just wish I could gift them what's going on inside my head. And I try my very best to, like, sort of, because, you know, I think even on an education perspective as well, you know, I wish when I was younger I'd done more studying. I wish I'd done more degrees and things like that, you know, when everything was free, because everything was free. But I had a really bad experience in my first year at uni, and I really didn't like the course, and it put me off education. And now I'm in the education sector coaching. I just wish I could go back in time and you know, spend like 6 years or something doing a degree, a master's and doctorate and all those things that I just, because that first year and that experience, I felt like a failure, and then it really stopped me from having that relationship with education. And I would probably...
There's still time.
But also, I don't think you can be defined by your education.
No, 100%. No.
Look at what you've done, and, you know, from my perspective, and, you know, everybody else that's, you know, listening to this podcast, honestly, girls, you're just amazing in what you do, you know, whether you've got an ology or not.
It's true, we've all got a gift,
honestly,
we've all got a talent, no matter what. And, you know, I did my education in the wrong order, so, you know, there's always time to achieve what you want to.
But thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
What you're doing, because honestly, you're just absolutely magnificent. I just feel so privileged and honoured that, as I say, that you're in our WOTY family, and as you know, there's no escape now, is there?
No, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to escape from you. You know what? You've got, whether you like, I'm like a boil on your arse, whether you like it or not.
Oh, there you go. There's another one.
That suits me fine. Oh, girls, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thank you. I probably shouldn't.
Appreciate
That'll
it.
probably be getting cut, won't it?
No, that's got to stay in. That's got to stay in. This has been Ellen Kerr. I've just done my Sunday name. This has been Ellie Kerr. Thank you very much for listening. It's been the Crispy Ear Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.